Hey there, welcome. This is Cortland Mallory with the Straight Facts Podcast, and today our topic is sports. Now, please remember, these are the ways that we're going to make money from the perspective of a young black man with no education, and this one is a big one because a lot of us are pushed into sports. What's up with sports? Can you make money doing sports? Is it a good idea to do sports? That's what we're talking about today. And I think the number one point to talk about with sports is opportunity cost. Now, what is opportunity cost? Anybody? Okay, yes, you are all right and wrong, both of you. Just messing with you. Opportunity cost is the idea that while you go to work for 8 hours, what else could you have done with that 8 hours? You could have perhaps filled up your car with gas, gotten an oil change, went to the grocery store, did some laundry, could have done anything, but you went to work, right? Or you went to the gym or whatever. Whatever it is that you didn't get to do while you did what you decided to do is the opportunity cost. And within the realm of sports, you're gonna be dealing with that concept a ton. The reason is because you're constantly getting better. Everything about sports is self-improvement. You need to get about your diet, make sure that it's tight, make sure that it's right. You need to get on your exercise, as well as be in tune with your coaches and your team so that you know what's going on with them, that you can train them, uplift your team. Having a better team makes you a better player. Being a better player makes your team better. So both are good, right? Having to deal with that means that you're not gonna have time to do a lot of the other supporting work that you're gonna need to do to have a good life. Things like learning about your finances, things like pursuing a higher education, right? And things like developing a backup plan for in case sports goes wrong. Because everybody, men and women, football, volleyball, baseball, football, no matter what you play, you have the risk of injuring yourself. And that can end your career no matter what stage it's in. So you always want to keep in mind that there is a risk associated with this path to wealth, but it does work, and it does work a lot. Now, I wanted to break down some of the stereotypes about athletes because what you'll actually realize is they're some of the greatest superhumans on the planet Earth. I mean, if you think about a player like Tom Brady, if you think about a player like LeBron James, it's not just about their skill, but the idea, the mind-blowing idea that they could play this long at this level with the best, most talented people in the world and still play at a high level. I mean, not only does your mind break down, your body breaks down. I mean, these are just humans. That's just human things. But also the game changes. There's new rules. I mean, the fact that you can compete and continue to win is incredible. You need to study. You need to know what's happening on the field. You need to be a master of your game, but you also need to be disciplined. You need to have the ability to act upon the knowledge that you've gained. I mean, the work ethic of these guys is insane. You would have to be crazy to think that you could be like them and sit in your house on your couch eating Cheetos. Like, they're just not doing that. That's just the simple fact of it. And so when we think about athletes, there's always this idea that they're ignorant or that they don't know what's going on. But in fact, most NFL players, NBA players are college graduates. I mean, they're the same caliber of employee that you might find at a management consulting firm, somebody who might consult for your giant enterprise level initiative, right? So let's have and give the respect to athletes that is deserved, right? They do make a ton of money, and they get the opportunity to really not only entertain, but inspire all of us. I mean, they're celebrated throughout history, and we just continue to watch the amazing things that they do. So if you're looking to become an athlete, I want you to keep in mind an exit strategy. Now, if you don't know what an exit strategy is, it is the concept that whatever you're doing, there's a half-life to it. And you should have a plan for what happens when that half-life day comes. Meaning, one day the milk in your refrigerator will expire. Do you have a plan for that milk? Usually, if you don't have a plan for your milk, it just goes bad and you throw it out, right? But if you have a plan for it, right, you drink it for a little while and then you have things to cook using it, right? And then it's gone and you've used it all. You want to use all of what you have in life from a skill perspective, as well as from a resource perspective and a network perspective. Use everything that you can and have a plan behind it. A lot of players who go pro or who never make it pro end up in a sort of limbo space, right? Because they didn't quite get their degree, or maybe they did, or they didn't quite get to the point that they needed to have a backup plan. Always keep the backup plan in mind. Choose a solid college major in a career that you can excel in, that's going to make enough money to pay off your debt. That is more important than anything else. Also, think about investing in the areas of your education where you haven't. The biggest logical fallacy that we see in wealth management, in not only the sports industry, but in the entertainment industry, with people who gain tremendous amounts of wealth all at once, all at the same time, these people have a tendency to then retroactively believe that they know what to do with money. That is not necessarily the case. People give people tons of money who don't necessarily know what to do with it. And that's why we see a lot of athletes who see a giant check and go, I'm just gonna blow it because I'm always gonna get this giant check. They're not thinking too much about the injuries. They're not thinking too much about what possibilities there are for it. And I urge you to start thinking in that direction. Meet with a money manager. Seek out those people, those experts within the industry, so that you can learn what to do with your finances, so that when the day comes that you retire from your profession, you do still have money. And I do want to reinforce, you get paid so much money when you become a professional athlete. There's really no reason you should go broke unless you're ignorant about how money works. And that's why opportunity cost here is so big. So think about your exit strategy as a sports professional. What options do you have? Public speaking and motivational speaking is huge. I mean, think about the amount of abuse that you, an athlete, is taking from coaches. A lot, right? I mean, I'm sure they've called you everything under the sun. You probably heard brand new insults from your coach, right? That just like, where did he come up with that? This is good. I mean, you can be that person. You can take those elements, that ability to really push somebody, to bring out their inner ambition, to motivate them. You can do that for other people. So look to some of those in the past who have done what I'm speaking about now. After suffering an injury or otherwise just exiting from the industry, find some people in your network that can connect you with opportunities at local schools around the nation, also around your local living space, so that you can begin to gain exposure and become known for doing things like these, so that you're not so uncomfortable if and when something bad happens. I mean, we have seen many players who had near Hall of Fame careers who got injured late in the game, had to retire, and it's so important that they had a plan beforehand with their money and with their lifestyle, so that they can maintain the comfort for themselves and their families, and maybe even have generational wealth at the end of the day. So little black boys, little black girls who are sitting there and thinking, can I get a scholarship and go to college? And what if I make it big and I'm good at sports? I say go for it. I say do your best. I say give it 100%, okay? Give it 110%, 120%. Work your butt off, because you can do it. However, always think in the back of your head, there's a possibility that this could all fall apart. It has nothing to do with you. It's no reflection of your skill. Sometimes there are things that are just outside of our control, and injuries is one of them. So always be ready for that to happen, and think about what you can do in the event that you can no longer run, jump, throw, and hit like you do now. So for my last piece of advice for all of you athletes out there, be a warrior both on the field and in the classroom. It makes a huge difference. What you learn in the classroom is not only how to be effective on the field, but how to be effective in life. You are still a person who has to manage their money and their life just like everyone else, even though it doesn't seem like it. I mean, athletes have this really toxic relationship with life. I mean, you sleep, you work out, you study, and then you sleep. Those are the 3 sections of your day, right? You barely even have time to use the bathroom. So in that time, you just start to lose sense of what happens in the regular world. I mean, you're doing so much training and so much of that, you know, between the chemicals, the testosterone and the estrogen that get boosted to astronomical levels, and being literally at the physical peak of your life, your emotions are high. I mean, your emotions and your energy are really, really high, but you're also not thinking about the things that everyday people think about in order to push yourself forward. So here's something I like to say that tends to offend people, but matters a lot. Stay in your lane. It's not a bad thing to stay in your lane. Now, when we think about lanes, what do we think of? Highways? I hope. And what happens on highways? There are exits. And those exits take us to streets that will let us go back onto the highway in a different lane. And we can always switch our lane, but you would have to go far enough in the correct lane to reach the exit that you need to be on. Is this resonating? Somebody here is starting to have something click, right? When you get to stay in your lane, you get where you're going. You're going where you want to go, not where the person next to you wants to go, not where what you've seen on TV thinks you should go towards. You're going where you should go. So stick to your plan and do things the way that are going to help you grow so that you can get to the next level. And don't worry about who's on your left and who's on your right. Don't look over there. All right. We're in a track race. All right. We're in a relay race. The only person you need to look at is the person you need to hand the baton off to in front of you so that they can go forward and they can lead the charge. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Straight Facts. I've been Cortland Mallory, your host. Today's episode has been sports. I appreciate you for joining in. I want you to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the video so that we can spread with all of the aspiring athletes in the world and they can do what they need to do to be successful in their careers. Have a great week, and it was a pleasure to talk to you. Look, if you know me, you know I love cryptocurrency, and if you're looking to get started investing in crypto, get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up with my link down below for Coinbase. Coinbase is a cryptocurrency broker that lets you invest in the main ones that you've heard about in the news, as well as tons of altcoins. So click the link down below, get started with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the market.